everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Let It Die. This will be the last episode in my Forceman Normal series. Oh, well, Let's Play. The target of this episode will be Pale Wind, which is the fourth and final Forceman of the four Forcemen that we'll be taking on. So I'll be talking a little bit about the strategies to fight him and the build we have here. This is just about what your death bag will look like when taking on Pale Wind in the normal situation of not having an express pass active. Because the rule with Pale Wind, he has his own gimmick to the fight. With every other Forceman so far, you've been allowed to bring a full death bag worth of equipment, which could have been full of anything. Healing shrooms, slow time shrooms, attack up shrooms, all that jazz. Well, this is what your death bag would look like fighting Pale Wind. You can only bring, they've got an item limit to the Pale Wind fight. You can only bring 5 items without Express Pass and 7 items with Express Pass. And I guess if you have the 7 items rule, then you can bring 2 more healing things with you, because healing might be an issue on that fight. So this is what your setup would most of the time look like when farming Pale Wind. And this, I'd recommend a healing shroom, barb meat full portion, or half portion if you're economizing, or maybe a golden life shroom. Regular life shroom, don't bother. It's not enough healing to deal with his bullshit. Bring your strongest weapon. You're aiming to do at least 100 damage to him per hit. If you're not hitting 100 damage, you have to change something about your build to do more damage to him. I'm talking about hard mode and nightmare mode when fighting Pale Wind. So my nightmare farming fighter on my main account is a defender. The defender does enough damage to hit the 100 damage threshold to be able to stun the boss in enough hits to finish the fight within the time limit. Now, bringing the defender to the nightmare version of the fight, he does not nearly hit enough damage to stun the boss on time to get the seriously gimmicky fight to a timely conclusion, and will often end up running out of time or just getting my ass kicked before I can kick their ass. So the nightmare version requires you to have a 6-star striker, I'd say. Hard mode Pale Wind, 6-star defender, maybe 6-star striker. It'll be easier with a defender. You can take it more relaxed. And the nightmare version with a striker. We're on a striker, and the decals I recommend for this fight, a lot of people will say you need payback. Payback can help. It means that you can bring a defender to the nightmare fight as well, making it easier on yourself. You can survive a few more hits. However, your decal setup for this fight, ignore the vampire. I only have not unequipped it because it costs so much to get. I don't have a premium vampire, so I have to spend 4 silver skill shrooms every time I equip one, so this one is not going away. Pretend it's a attack increasing decal though. So you'd want to see 3 attack increasing decals and either attack increasing decals, defensive decals, or stamina conserving decals are useful for this fight. And of course the attack increasing decals only if you're not hitting more than 100 damage per hit. So I'm gonna pick up all these items because on the normal mode I'm expecting a lot of these rules will become irrelevant and invalid. So it will probably let me bring more than 5 items to the normal mode, even though in hard mode and nightmare mode that won't be allowed anymore. Let's go ahead and pick up all the items. They will come in useful trying to find where the normal mode fight is. Okay, Good to go. So, Pale Wind, his damage types, he deals blunt damage and piercing damage too. He can hit you at range with piercing damage, and he can hit you from close with blunt damage. The main damage type to worry about is his blunt damage. So you'll want to wear gear that is at least resistant to blunt. Ideally, the gear you want to wear is milk, because milk is often resistant to both blunt and piercing, with the Murderer's Hockey set like being a strange exception. Most milk gear is actually resistant to blunt and piercing. Do I have an example here? Yeah. The Hell Slugger pants, as you can see, 5% resistant to blunt, 5% piercing. 9% weak to slash. He doesn't have slash damage, so who cares? Off we go. Actually, no, not off we go. It's important in this fight to start with rage. Let's see. Actually, it's extremely important to start with rage on Pale Wind. Mousy. Get wrecked. I'm not worried about using a fire attack on the golden mouse, because you can't cook golden beasts, you can only kill them. Right. You can argue that was a little bit of wasted experience, but I don't care too much about a golden rat experience. Here we go. Fully leveled up on rage. It's a tough fight. Pale Wind is simultaneously the most difficult and the easiest Forceman to challenge. He's easy because it doesn't take much prep. As you saw with our initial loadout, you only need 5 items to fight him. You've got your healing item, your gear, and that's it. You don't have to farm any shrooms on the side. You don't have to hoard the rare resources, the rare mushrooms. You rely fully on your skills during the fight. So yeah, it's a gimmicky fight, but it's also a fully skill-based fight. And where the hell would it be? Yeah, it's probably that grayed out floor over there, connected to Obara. So I'll be heading to floor 31, Obara. Off we go. Again, really important to start the fight off with rage. So here it is. The scenario, you're in a hockey arena. It's like we're playing hockey. They are, I mean, we're dressed for the occasion. We're wearing the Murderer's Hockey set because we're going in for some murdering. And they're also wearing a very sporty outfit, although it's a bit weird and fantasy-esque, like a butterfly suit. But it's okay looking. I like the aesthetic of the Pale Wind armor. Really? You're attacking me already? What did I do to you? Okay, which way do we not have to go? Probably right. Am I mistaken? No, not mistaken. Speak for yourself. Alright. So that's nice. Sending an easy attacker. Come on. Again, countering Bone Tubers. Every action a Bone Tuber takes leaves them open for a counterattack. So any hop, any spin, any action they do, you know they cannot defend shortly afterwards. Once you realize that, Bone Tubers are just a joke. Like, one of my favorite strategies to deal with Bone Tubers, let's say there's a Bone Tuber standing like right here on this little tile. I'm coming from this location. I lock onto the Bone Tuber, I run behind them, and they have to take the action at that point to turn around before attacking me. While they're turning around, I just stab them, because turning around is an action, they're vulnerable during actions, and they're that easy. You just run to their rear and hit them. Easy counter for a Bone Tuber. Get wrecked. Use the combo attack on the Bullet Tuber, because the stab may have missed. and left me wide open to get completely destroyed by a barrage. Which would not have been fun, because I need this armor to survive pale winds. But probably not. He's probably a joke like everyone else on normal mode. We shall see. Ugh, I hate that trap room. In fact, I'm gonna check out this area first. To be honest, I'll be happy to get this series done because it's getting late and I want to go to sleep. Vulnerable after action, get wrecked. You can also bait out an attack with those guys. You can get close, wait for them to do something. Nope. This is the wrong way, actually. Picking up steel. You don't have to worry about bringing only 5 items with you to the boss room, because on the Pale Wind boss fights they actually have a 0 cost trash can with which you can send your items back to the waiting room without death metal costs. It usually costs death metals to send your items back to the waiting room using the dust bins, but not in this case, which is nice. Come on, man. Dude, how dare you insult me like that? You're correct. Also, I need to finish off that shroom quest at some point. Hey, you managed to... Oh, look at that. The lizard's chowing down on the other Sasori. And there's still another one around here somewhere. Alright. Well, mainly just working on the quest here. And wasting time. I'm supposed to be talking about Pale Wind here. Just have to find the blighter first. Ah, shit. Ooh. Okay. Nasty situation. Defused. Are you there? Well, okay. We're slowly but surely finding every wrong direction. We'll eventually find our way, I hope, or run out of time trying. Here we go, finally. Luckily you'll only want to come here for the once. You'll only want to come here the once for the normal mode quests. In fact, I'd argue it's probably easier to even just practice him on hard mode. Like, you do have the cost of 30,000, but then, you know, practice him on normal, hard, and nightmare, maybe. You get the 1 free attempt every day. The Pale Wind fight is quite difficult. It's extremely skill-based. It's a very action-packed fight. There's a lot of hazards to deal with, a lot of things to worry about. I'll talk about the fight for a few minutes before starting it, because not enough time to talk about it on the fight before the time runs out. So, you can already see some issues going on before even starting the fight. You've got a bunch of death trap hazards lining the outer wall of the arena. On each wall you'll have either 2 segments of the wall being covered in a trap, or 1 segment, and on the opposite side 2. So from here we can see 1 trap on this side of the on the opposite side of the wall from us here. So that means there's 2 traps on this side. You can slightly see an electric fence through the little gap there. And on this side it's the opposite. There's 2 traps. On the opposite side you can see from here the electric fence and the spike wall, and then you've got the spinning drill, the spinning saw blades on this side that you can't see. So you've got to bear that in mind. The Pale Wind can knock you down. A lot of his attacks will send you kind of like, what is that sports called, curling, where they slide something across the ice as far as they can. Well, if you get knocked down and you don't recover quick enough, you keep on sliding for a ridiculous extent, which can get you seriously murdered. You can slide into any one of these hazards. If you slide into the goal, you will get knocked into the air and fall down and take like a huge modifier to fall damage. It's like a 70% of your health in one hit, which is devastating. By the way, you don't want to get knocked into the goal. You want them to get knocked into the goal. And that is the objective of the Pale Wind fight. The objective is to get them into the goal. Now, they have a huge defense modifier. Defeating them using conventional weapons is not how you will usually win the fights. Now, I've got to remind myself that I should probably trade away to a weaker weapon so I don't accidentally end the fights by killing him with my weapon. Normal mode is so messed up sometimes. You know, it should be a proper practice, but I don't even know, like, his defense is going to be too weak to get him into a stunned state. Anyway, what you want to do here is get him like Black Thunder, enough damage that he's stunned, and when he gets stunned, instead of taking extra damage, he is vulnerable to knockdown. Now you can knock him down by using the Fist Rage move that has knockdown. That's the easiest way to get him done. He's probably also susceptible to weapon knockdowns, but another thing that you can do with him is you can use mushrooms, specifically explosive mushrooms, to knock him down, and that's the big gimmick to this fight. Along every goal is lined a bunch of mushrooms, of which some of them will contain explosive mushrooms. You pick up the mushrooms and you throw those throwing explosive mushrooms at Pale Wind's feet when he's in his vulnerable state after taking a bit of damage. And then he, well, you'll try and angle him so he falls into the goal. Now, he'll fly back when hit by a knockback attack or hit by an explosive mushroom, and he'll start sliding for a certain distance. Now, there's lines on either side of the arena, and that roughly indicates how far back you will fly and hit the goal. Now, if you frighten Pale Wind and he's in the middle of the arena, you will probably, if you get him stunned in the middle, not be able to knock him far back enough to get him into the goal. So you want to be fighting behind the goal lines. So that's a good indicator of just about where you will be able to knock him into the goal from. Let's get going, shall we? Play for free. Let's play a game of hockey. A lot to talk about here. It's very technical, but you catch on quick. I guess watching any YouTube video of the fight in action, your eyes can pick up on everything what's going on faster than is translatable from words. Look at this tough guy. I just hope I don't one-shot him with my attacks. He should have a serious damage defense modifier. He will pretty soon into the fight do a bubble. That bubble is nasty. It will actually take away 1 point of rage, so you want to guard against it. Okay, you want to watch out for that attack. Oh, don't kick my ass, please. Okay, he is stunned. Punch like a ridiculous amount. Every time anything flies into the goal, look, he's taunting. When he taunts, he's also susceptible to knockback. The dum-dum. Watch out for that. Whoa, boy. Are you there? Look, this is what I'm talking about. Alright. Whenever something, including yourself, gets knocked into the goal, they refresh the mushrooms. As you can see, when he taunts, he's susceptible to knockback. Okay, this goal has 4 mushrooms in it. Pick up the... God damn it. Pick up the explosive shrooms. Excuse you. Oh yeah? Pick up the explosive shrooms. My performance here is not how you want to do the fight. It is actually much more laid back in normal mode. It's a joke. In Harden... don't you taunt at me. If you do get knocked into the goal, it's pretty devastating. You don't want that to ever happen. This is rage move. Whenever he comes at you, angle yourself, slanting away from him. Target him when he rage moves against you, and circle around him. So he's raging at you, and you just like circle around him like this, and you kind of work in like concentric circles around him. You're like circling each other as he rage moves around you. I will try and get the win here. Come on, buddy. Oh no. Actually, I want to win. Alright. Got the win. Easy peasy. So, if you find yourself with a goal that is full of non-explosive mushrooms and all of your rage is depleted, it's not necessarily the end. You can spawn mushrooms whenever something hits the goal. If you knock the enemy into the goal, a whole suite of new mushrooms will spawn there. If there's already mushrooms there, they won't get replaced. So if a series of non-exploding mushrooms... okay, here's the worst case scenario. Rice ball shrooms can spawn here as well. Let's say this is all rice ball shrooms. You're out of you're out of explosives, and you're out of rage because he's bubbled constantly and he's sapped your rage away. Look at this one. This can populate the goal completely. Like 2 of these are explosive shrooms that'll knock him into the goal, and 2 of these are non-explosive shrooms. So the goal can be full of non-explosive shrooms. Worst case scenario, what you have to do in that case is you have to pick up the non-explosive shrooms, clear them out of the way, if you're even able to, you know. But I'm talking about a hypothetical situation where you are spending death metals on the fight and you want to get him down. This fight is never game over, you know, it's never... when I first did the fight, I thought, wow, you can actually lock yourself out of a win completely at some point in this fight, but it's not true. You can always still win, you know, even if it costs you a bunch of death metals. Worst case scenario, you can throw yourself into the goal to spawn the mushrooms. So there's no mushrooms here, you've picked them all up. You can run into the goal, or you can let him knock you into the goal, and then that will spawn a bunch of mushrooms. Now, the smartest way to spawn mushrooms into the goal with the least damage to yourself would be whenever he does his triple shots attack, you dodge it. Like, he's standing here, over here, you're standing over here. Bait his triple shot attack to the goal. You can like guard to wait for him to do it, and then dodge out of the way of the shot. And if one of his triple shot attacks or his explosive ground rolling attack ends up in the goal, that will also spawn mushrooms. Like any attack of his that hits the goal also will spawn mushrooms. And that's a good strategy to repopulate the goal with the proper explosive mushrooms that you can in turn use to knock him into the goal when he is stunned. And it looks like we're doing pretty well on the quest. Nice amount of shrooms to be picked up on this arena. Yeah, when you do damage to him, it takes about, on hard mode, maybe on nightmare mode, but definitely on hard mode, if you're doing 120 or so damage to him, if you're doing over 100 damage, it'll take like 3 or 4 hits to stun him. A favorite weapon of people to use is the machete, specifically the tier 4 blue machete. You do the jumping attack, and you do like 3 of those, and as long as you're doing over 100 damage, it takes a certain amount of hits to stun him. I didn't show off all of his moves here, but I have quite a few videos fighting him, and I do explain in my description my thoughts on the fight. But in my opinion, his most counterable attacks are his 3-hit combo. He 3 hits combos, and after he does that, you can walk in bait. You can walk in bait every hit of his combo. You'll end the combo prematurely if you're not close enough. So you walk in bait every hit of the 3-hit combo, and then after the 3rd hit, you can hit him safely and run out. There are not many attacks he does that can be countered. His free shots, his free shot shooting combo, his 3 hits melee combo can both be countered if you're quick enough. If you're not quick enough countering his free shot combo, he will often counter his free shots into a heavy 2-handed forward punch, which can be devastating. They'll take a lot of damage to you on the higher difficulty levels. What else can be punished? His kneel on the floor, shooting the explosive forward can be heavily punished. If you're close enough when he does it, you can get a strong hit off on him. What else can be punished? His taunts. Keep an eye out for when he stops. He's always got a very straight pose, but whenever he gets really relaxed and he just stands still and he starts, it looks like he's doing nothing, but he's actually subtly taunting at you. And whenever he's taunting at you, it's not very obvious, but he's actually susceptible to knockback then. And I have had a few easy wins with him taunting often. He's just standing next to the goal taunting. Take that opportunity to throw an explosive shroom at his feet, knock him into the goal, or if you've got rage, punch him into the goal with the punch rage move. What else? Yeah, never fight him in the middle, always try to lure him here. And ideally, he should be standing here and you here, because his bubble comes out quick sometimes and without warning, and it knocks you back into the goal, and you avoid standing in front of the... Well, long story short... Oh my jeez, hell. The jackals spawning out here? Oh, fun times, fun times. Actually, I don't care about that. You're welcome, jackals, come in. Mikasa Asukasa. Enjoy the games. Also, what is this? Well, kill points, okay. Okay, cool, jackals can spawn here, nice to know. Anyway, where was I? Never stand in front of the goal. His bubble attack can come out unexpectedly, knock you into the goal. Also, if you die on this fight, be aware... Hello. Hello, buddy. Wow, thanks for killing me. Actually, I don't care that I died on this floor because it's free recovery costs dying on a... Oh, wait.
Your time was up.
No. This shouldn't be an issue. The only thing if you get died by... if you get murderized by a jackal is that you cannot recover your fighter by Haterfy. You have to recover by kill coin recovery. I still hope it's for free though. Jeez, I hope it doesn't glitch the system. Anyway, we're running out of time. I can't talk more about the fight. Good luck to anyone farming this fight. It's an interesting one. Take care and see you guys next time.